Well, it's a Saturday night, and a Saturday night means a party night. And for people like us, for me, for all of you watching, cricket's a party. That's right. India playing England in a 5-match T20I series. The second of those games, India up 1-0 after that first game at the Eden Gardens. And today the action moves to Chennai, keeping it on the coast down south. And India, of course, will be feeling really chuffed after that win in the previous game. It was a very dominant win, just didn't let England get a foot through the door. They just pretty much slammed it after the first over where England batted. So India will be hoping to carry that form on. England will be hoping that their batters have suddenly imbibed some sort of magic potion where they can handle the spin a little better. Just want to tell Harry Brook that there's very little smog and pollution in Chennai, so it's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. I'm Gaurav Kapur here on Cricbuzz Live. I've got Zaheer Khan sitting with me. Hi, Zach. What's up? How's it going?
All set for the big game.
A lot of pollution in Mumbai, but I can see you. That's pretty clear. It's good. I'm fine. Sitting in...
We're used to it.
We're used to it. AQI of, what is it, 22 is Michael Vaughan back home in sunny UK.
Yeah, good evening. I can report from the UK that the smog's fine as well here, so I'm able to see you on my computer screen. I've heard some great excuses from many sporting teams over the last 20 years, but to say that the smog was the reason why England couldn't pick the spinners, it's up there with the greatest ever excuse from Harry Brook.
I like it. It was very creative. Absolutely loved it. All right, Chennai, the second game today. There's a lot of news. There's players getting injured, especially in India. We'll give you a quick update on that. Nitish Kumar Reddy has a side strain, is it, Zach? I think it's a side strain, so he's out. But Shivam Dube is now fit, so he's going to be joining. And I remember Shivam Dube was in the champion T20 side till 6 months ago. And a lot of you didn't notice that he was not there in this squad, right? That's the embarrassing abundance of riches that India has in T20Is right now, Zach.
Yes, they do. The options when you're looking at this format, for sure, there is enough to choose from. Like-to-like replacements are also available. So from that point of view, if you look at it, a lefty, Rinku Singh as well, I think, is not available. So Nitish Reddy, a batter who can bowl a bit, Shivam Dube, a batter who can bowl a bit, so that's the kind of balance which they're looking to achieve. And two left-handers, basically left-handers replacing left-hander, so Shivam Dube and Rinku Singh, that you can look at that swap, and Ramandeep to Nitish Reddy, because Ramandeep as well can contribute with the ball.
Okay, I want to ask Michael Vaughan right up front that if Mohammad Shami is fit, would you, given the context of the fact that you want him for the Champions Trophy and you want to get him back onto the field and get some game time, if he's fit, would you play him?
No, if I was India, I'd just go with what worked for them just a couple of nights ago. I think spin to win is going to be a key against this England batting lineup. I like the formation that they had India just a few days ago, where they just obviously had 3 seam options. Hardik Pandya was exceptional. Arshdeep Singh is magnificent. Obviously, Nitish Kumar Reddy's no longer there. So you guess when you play England, you always look at the kind of formations and the kind of skill sets that you require. And I'm pretty sure that over the course of the next few games, we'll see Mohammad Shami. But when you 1-0 up, there's 4 to play. I would continue with the same formation, the same kind of lineup.
Okay, well, India has won the toss and decided that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. India is going to be bowling first. Let's have a look at, there's obviously 2 force changes because of Rinku Singh and Nitish Kumar Reddy. But what have they done? Well, that's right, they haven't changed the bowling. Harshdeep Singh still there. Hardik Pandya will do new ball duties with him. You'll have spin to win, as we've been talking about, with Ravi Bishnoi, Varun Chakaravarthy and Akshar Patel. The 2 replacements, well, for Nitish Kumar Reddy, you could say that there's Washington Sundar, who's going to bowl a little more spin over there as an option for the captain, Suryakumar Yadav, and Dhruv Jurel, who's been very impressive. I've been impressed with Dhruv Jurel's batting, Zach, not just in T20s, but even in the little bit of test match action he's seen.
Yeah, everyone is talking about that he's ready. It's just about him getting those opportunities. When the first choice picks are doing well, sometimes it gets difficult for you to utilize your good form. But the force changes here have definitely given Dhruv Jurel that opportunity to capitalize on. So that's the way it's going at this point, you know. So you got to keep the players in the scheme of things. You got to make sure that whenever the time is there, whenever the opportunities are there, you utilize them. And Dhruv Jurel and Washington Sundar, from that point of view, I think they will be looking at giving them this exposure since two players are injured. See where these guys are standing, how they're evolving at this level.
Well, Michael, we were talking about spin to win. India's decided that 3 was not enough trouble for England. Let's get a 4th one in because we didn't have a right arm off spinner.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. You know, in Chennai, we look at the ground that they're playing on. It's probably one of the most spinning wickets in T20 cricket around India. So, you know, if I'm setting up a team to play against England, I'm just going to go with so many spinners. You know, you've got your off spinner, you've got your two leg spinners, left arm spinners. So you've got every single angle covered from an Indian bowling perspective. And obviously you've got a wonderful left arm seamer in Hardik Pandya to bowl a bit of pace and swing and seam. So it's a perfect combination to play against this England side.
All right, England's going to be bowling. England has one change because of illness. She has Jacob Bethel, who is unwell, pulled up unwell. So Jamie Smith, and Michael had said that he would like to see Jamie Smith in the squad. And one of the pacers has dropped out for Bryden Cast. So the pacer dropped out is, well, there's Overton, there's Archer, there's
Gus Atkinson.
Gus Atkinson is not. They played so many pace bowlers, had to go through the entire roster. They again are seeing this a little differently because you would have thought, well, they have the option of one more spinner, Michael. Could have got that in, but they again are going with pace and bounce.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I'll go back to the early 90s. I remember England arriving there for a test tour, and there was a test match where India played 4 spinners and England played 4 quick bowlers. You go back to a couple of tours, there was a day-night test match, and England played 4 seamers, India played 4 spinners, and England got rolled on that occasion. I just see a similar outcome today. You know the wickets in India are going to offer a little bit of spin. England have gone with Adil Rashid. There's a little bit of Liam Livingstone that they can use, but I think you need more than one frontline spinner on these pitches in India. So I'm not sure England are getting their formation absolutely spot on. They've gone with Bryden Cast, who's done very well in Test match cricket. He's a good all-rounder, replacing Gus Atkinson after just 1 game. But I'll go back to the previous game when there was no left arm seam. There's no left arm seamer in the squad. And I'll go back to when England were a magnificent one-day team around 2019 and then winning the T20 World Cup in Australia. England separated their test and their white ball squads a lot more than they're doing these days. If you look at what they've got on this tour, it's a lot of the test team that are playing T20 cricket. If you look at what India are doing, there's hardly any of the test team involved in the T20 game. And I just think that's the way that the game's heading, that you almost have separate squads, particularly from test match cricket to T20 cricket. But England, with Baz McCullum, they're staying very loyal with a group of players that have done well for them in test cricket. They're now going to try and see if they can do well in T20 cricket as well.
In fact, Zach, such a good point Michael makes, and we've discussed this a lot. You haven't just been saying separate squads. You've been saying separate to a point where they can run simultaneously, Test cricket and T20Is.
Yeah, I think there is going to be a time when Test and T20 format will be going alongside and shouldn't be dependent on each other, because you've seen now the top teams are looking at playing 5 Test series. So that is, you're looking at 2.5, 3 months. So obviously, as the board, you can decide, which players are valuable for which format, if any of the players are overlapping. But generally, you're seeing the format, the way it's evolving, you will have a completely different T20 squad to a Test squad. And if you're able to do that, maybe few players will be repeating. But that call will always be lying with the board to decide which tournament or which series is valuable, of more value, importance, and then go accordingly. But that is just going to ease things out, I feel, because Test match cricket, as we know, is definitely here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And T20 format is ever so evolving, and the popularity of that will be going. So though both the formats shouldn't be shouldn't be kind of eating into each other. It should just be running parallelly so that you'll have more of each.
I'll tell you what, I agree with him. Test cricket is not going anywhere. T20I cricket has grabbed everyone's imagination. There is one format that's getting left behind in all of this. Not saying. There's one that's getting left behind. Nobody cares about it that much anymore. But somebody does who's asked a question.
T10 format.
Sorry, Michael?
Is that the T10 format that's getting lost behind? Or
Let me tell you, it's not the T10, it's not the 100, it's not the T5. By process of elimination, everyone's understood what I'm talking about. It's a format I've retired from, by the way. It's a format I've retired from, officially. But we've got a question in on Ask Cricbuzz Live, and there's somebody who wants Varun Chakaravarthy, who has spun a web in T20I cricket and has done well in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. Parth Dani wants to see Varun Chakaravarthy in the ODI squad and says that has India missed a trick by not naming Varun Chakaravarthy the mystery spinner in the Champions Trophy squad? Now, it's a good question, Parth, because it actually is a good jump-off point for us for another discussion, which is in the same vein that we're talking about separating the formats and formats being very different from each other, their demands being different. If you look at the ODI squad and the T20I, the team, both the teams right now, Zach, we see the batting is almost entirely different. There's barely any overlap, right? Yep. With the bowling as well, please tell us what you feel is the difference, because as a fan, you can see 4 overs, 10 overs. Is it that much different? But it's a lot more than that in terms of guy, line, length, experience.
Well, you're looking at the current form. You would want to play him pretty much wherever you can because he's in terrific form. He's in wicket-taking form. So that is always tempting for you to look at an individual and maximize his form. So that discussion I'm sure must have happened. But there's always the layering. So when you're looking at the team management and the choices which they have to make, they have to keep everything in mind. And they, to a certain degree, have to be fair also to most of the players. You can't be fair to all the players, but you do your best to communicate to best of your ability to make sure that the process is followed and there's some kind of criteria which is followed in the process. So when you're looking at that, you're actually mixing the formats. So Varun has been very consistent with the T20 format, hasn't really got that kind of exposure in ODI. So if you look at his number of ODIs played, I don't think he's started on that front yet.
No, I don't think he's made his debut. Yeah.
So you will see the difference. There is a difference between 4 overs being bowled when the batters, because of the time crunch, are going to come hard at you, and suddenly there is a certain level of effectiveness. But when you're looking at bowling 60 deliveries or 10 overs, then that dynamics changes. So as a batter, you can adapt to that situation differently. Maybe the field restriction also in ODIs present different challenges. And the guys who've been doing well, so Rohit, you've seen in the ODI World Cup as well, was going along with a certain kind of mindset, a certain kind of stack-up of bowlers, certain kind of stack-up of the playing 11. And you will see the continuity from that. So I'm looking at it more from that point of view rather than saying that, yes, it's tough for him because he's in good form and surely will be expecting that call. But I think it's just the part of the process, continuity and the whole layering which we are talking about must have forced the guys to go in this direction.
But I'm going to ask Michael as well, because Michael, how much of a difference? Because there is Varun Chakaravarthy, played the 2021 T20 World Cup, then was dropped, made his way back into the team, and he's been doing really well. We've seen the kind of lengths that he's been bowling. Those lengths have changed. His pitch map has changed from, the first time he was playing, and then he came back. I guess this is a difference as well between formats, which is not talked about enough. The lengths that the bowlers have to bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. He's got 2 wickets with full length deliveries, and he avoids that as much as he possibly can. He's got 10 in the good length and 8 wickets just short of a length. And the reason why he doesn't go too full because he doesn't want to get step hit down the ground. So he kind of bowls into that good length, and he's making it very, very difficult for the batters because they're caught in 2 minds. Do they go forward? Do they go back? Will it spin away from the bat, or will it come back into the bat, or will it go straight on? I think he's very unlucky, actually. I think he's a wonderful bowler. The problem in India, you've got so many players to choose from. So you've got so much depth in your spin department that you can afford to not pick Chakravarthy for a 50-over format in the Champions Trophy. But With the way that he bowled the other night, and I'm pretty sure he'll have a lot more success over the course of the next few T20 with the way that he bowls and the way that England plays spin. He's certainly one that if there was an injury or an illness before the Champions Trophy, I'm pretty sure he'll be the next cab off the rank because he's such a wonderful bowler.
Since we are talking about length, and it's a rather large length of the show that we're talking about length, but while we're on it, I want to stay on it for the England bowlers and the England quicks and the kind of lengths they were bowling in the first game. We'll come back to this series now. Michael, we noticed that the lengths that the opening bowlers were bowling in the power play, England versus India, were very different, and thus the efficacy was different as well for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at those numbers on the screen there. It was a completely different approach from two different teams that, India got it right. I think the difference with the way that Arshdeep Singh bowled in particular, that he got the ball moving around. England didn't seem to get the swing. They got a little bit of bounce. They created some funky fields. They had two slips, a gully, a short leg, two dry catches, one on the onside, one on the offside catching. It's very much a Brendan McCullum approach to all cricket, that he goes out to field with his team and he says to them, you've got to try and get wickets all the time. And obviously that's the ideal, but I just think sometimes where you watch, in particular in white ball cricket, you can't just be ultra aggressive with your field settings. You've got to be quite smart and you've got to be quite sensible. I guess England didn't get a huge score on the board, so they had to try and force the issue with a few wickets. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how they go today in terms of will they bring their lengths back a little bit. They're lacking a little bit of skill. They've gone with pretty much all-out pace. And again, I'll look back for when England had a really, really good white ball team. And they didn't have, they had some pace bowlers in Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, obviously, but they had bowlers like Reece Topley, David Willey, who actually bowled with a lot of skill, got the ball swinging around. England have gone with a different approach in terms of their bowling attack, which is in India on those wickets. If I'm batting in India, I want pace on the ball. I want to deflect because the pitches aren't that quick, so you actually want the pace to come from the bowler that allows you to deflect the ball. England have gone with an attack that I think India would be quite happy to be facing.
Yeah, and the Indian batters are very well versed with pace now. In fact, they love the ball coming onto the bat. Players like Sanju, Samson, Abhishek, Tilak, just Surya, all of them, they just love it now. That's like meat and drink for them.
Absolutely. I think, the point which Michael Vaughan is trying to make is exactly what is hurting England. Because your bowlers have got that back of the length, hitting the deck hard, and they're bowling at rapid pace. So when the pitches here in subcontinent, the nature of them is on the slow side, it actually aids to the batters to cut that effect. Which can cause problems. When the ball is not coming onto the bat, you're not able to time the ball well. So this actually is playing in Indian batters' favor. There is no doubt about that. And also the conditions, if they're not supporting the bowling, and you still have continuing with that kind of a stack up in your playing 11, it's only going to make things difficult for you. So the numbers which you're showing with the power play, that is the case. You want to stick to your strength, but the conditions are not going to allow you to be able to do that, and you'll always have that challenging ask of producing results then.
Yeah, and as Michael is saying, there's no left arm there. And in terms of the power play, when you look at the kind of runs that England has been leaking, you see the difference between India and England. The difference is almost, the average difference is almost 2. So you're talking about 12 runs at being a difference in the power play when India is bowling and when England is bowling. And that's not a small margin in a T20 game, Michael.
Well, no, I mean, it's a huge margin, and that's what England have got to try and turn around. I mean, it's been a common trend for quite a while that England have just not been able to win power plays. And you look at a lot of the data and the stats from T20 cricket, it's generally the team that wins the game goes on and dominates the power plays. And that's what England haven't been able to do in recent times. Look, we're in a bit of a transitional period because Brendan McCullum's come in. What he'll want on this tour is a group of people that obviously will be with him for the 50 overs and the Champions Trophy. That's what they've selected. But over time, white ball cricket now is such a specific game where you need skill. I look at all England's bowlers and think, of all the seam bowlers, who's got a great slow ball? I look at players like Tom Curran back in time, then he played, bring up great back of the hand slow ball. Sam Curran's got great cutters. I don't see at the minute in this attack the kind of change-ups and the real mystery kind of deliveries that you require in this series. If you just bowl the same ball with the same pace against the likes of Abhishek Sharma, Sanju, Samson, they're going to murder you. They're going to hit you to all parts. You've got to have that variation and that skill set. And at the minute in this England team, I don't see that many of the bowlers have got that kind of change-ups that you require in white ball cricket.
So basically, England needs to call someone from the current household. Anyone. One of the brothers. Anybody, please. Somebody come give us the slower delivery. Because Indian bowlers are going at a little over 7 per over in the power play. England bowlers are going at 9.14. So there's the difference, 7.21 and 9.22. So there you go. It's almost a 2-run difference per over. So a 12-run difference in the power play. And it's a large sample size. So England's bowlers will want to do a little better when it comes to that. We'll also talk about the England batters because there's the curious case of Ben Duckett. Now, again, I always believed that there is an abundance of riches, Michael, when it comes to opening, the opening slot options, opening players for England in T20Is. Sorry, Ben Duckett played in 2019, then was out and then has come back in. I'm still finding it a little odd. Great player and everything, but did you really need that slot to be filled by somebody from the outside?
Well, he's a wonderful player and he's very much a part of Brendan McCullum's kind of think tank over the course of the last few years in Test cricket, 50-over cricket, and now T20 cricket. Ben Duckett is a very consistent performer. I would use him in the middle because he's such a good player of spin, particularly against this Indian side. And as I said the other day, I just think with Jos Buttler being one of the great T20 players, particularly at the top of the order, where he can bat throughout the innings and get you hundreds. He's yet to get an international T20 100, which is staggering. And you kind of look at the way that he played the other night. I think by having him at the top of the order, it allows him to really attack the power play. And by the time the spinners come on, he might be on 20 or 30. And as we saw the other night, he started to hit them quite nicely. I just would rejig this batting lineup against India in their own backyard because I just see Duckett at the top. He'll be fine. He'll get a few runs, but I just think England will be better with having Duckett in the middle and allowing Jos Buttler to bat at the top of the order against this Indian spin attack.
Zach, as an opening bowler, who's the person you wouldn't want to see opening? That'd be Jos Buttler, right? You don't want to see him, or you want to see him pushed down as an opening bowler. So England is actually playing into the strengths of the opposition by pushing Jos Buttler down.
Look, I mean, when you're looking at that, we've always been saying that, Jos Buttler, if he's there in your side, use him at the top. That's what he has been doing at the franchise cricket. That's where he's been more successful. And that is something which England has been missing for a while now.
Yeah.
So end of the day, you got to figure out what is the style of play which is going to benefit your side.
Yeah.
Like when I'm looking at it, maybe the conscious effort was to have Ben Duckett opening the innings, and then Buttler is your best player of spin, so you need him in the middle just to anchor the innings.
But if he plays out the power play, he'll get to the spinner anyway. And he's not good to survive the power play.
I think when you're looking at England side, you're dependent on Phil Salt as well at the top.
Yeah.
And you need that partnership. So in this series, if three batters are coming together and doing the job for England, then things are going to ease out. If not, the complication is only going to get worse as they move along in the series. So Ben Duckett, I don't mind him opening the innings. He's a good player. We've seen in Test matches that he can really put bowlers under pressure right from the word go. And maybe that's the thought process. Knowing Brandon McCullum, how he approaches, he wants that steady and solid start. And the guy he's looking at having that kind of confidence in him is Duckett.
Oh, he's done really well. I mean, there's nothing against him because Duckett's got runs by the bucket.
It's more so about how Brandon McCullum is looking at playing out the whole 20 overs. Yeah. And then he's looking to find the personnel who will fit the role. And until the time it doesn't fall into place or you don't see the results, it's not going to make sense of things.
I'd still love to see Buttler opening. He's just one of the pleasant sights in world cricket to see Buttler and Salt, again, both very aggressive batters. I know that Indian fans would not like to see that, but will we see a rejig in the batting lineup today. England, of course, is batting first. Talking about India's opening bowlers, and I want to bring Zach in on this because it's the case of Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya has quietly, slowly but surely worked his way up as one of the most successful T20I bowlers for India. Number 3rd on the wickets list now.
Yep.
Not far, and probably be second soon because Chahal is not part of the T20I setup anymore. Arshdeep overtook Chahal in the previous game, so I guess Hardik Pandya maybe in a few games will do that as well. Liking seeing that added responsibility because now he's designated new ball and death bowler.
For sure, there's no doubt about that. That's what we've been saying. That if Hardik, the bowler, comes to the party, then the whole balance of the side changes. And I think over the period of time, he's been a reluctant bowler, isn't it? so he's been fighting his own battles, having his injuries, the back issues, which was forcing him to be apprehensive about looking at taking a bigger role with the ball in hand. But slowly and surely, he's understood over the period of time that it's very important for him to take the responsibility for the team. And then that is something which is very important, and the numbers are backing that. And I'm sure with time now, he's also realized and understood the importance of Hardik the bowler. And it clearly shows now that when he's preparing for a series, he's not looking at it in a negative way.
He's not shying away from bowling.
Exactly.
He's bowled a lot leading up to this in domestic.
Wanting more responsibility, and that's a great sign for the team because the balance they achieve. You look at them having 3 spinners or 4 spinners in the side because they trust Hardik enough to do the job, and that is what the balance which you are talking about.
To do the job, bowl is 4 overs. Bowl is 4 overs and bowl in the beginning and at the death. And I think about 9 or 10 months ago, there was so much confusion. Hardik was made captain of the Mumbai team. There was Rohit in that team, Surya in the team, Jasprit Bumrah in the team. So 3 big characters. He was the captain. There was a lot of talk going on. I don't know, is there any disharmony that's happening? And Michael, you'll be interested to know that Surya has got a very interesting quote that's come out, backing the player. I guess time also kind of heals all wounds, right? Where he's saying that Hardik is part of the leadership group. When we sit and decide what we want to do in the game, also on the field, it's like we have a lot of captains on the ground. We've been good friends on and off the field. And when we go back to the IPL, Hardik will become captain and I can relax a little bit. So it's good. I think that any confusion, if there was, or any disillusionment, any heartbreak, if there was, it seems like that's all sorted and good now.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Mumbai need a few more captains. They just don't quite have enough. I love watching Hardik Pandya play. I just think he's a tremendous cricketer. I like his mentality. I like the swagger. I like someone that's just full of confidence. But when he's bowling, he just adds so much to the side. And let's be honest, his body's, kind of let him down over the last few years, and he's picked up lots of injuries, which is very unfortunate. But in T20 cricket, just bowling 4 overs, maybe that's what his body can do, and we've just got to see him now as an incredible all-rounder in T20 cricket. And when he plays 50-over cricket, he might bowl a few overs more, but, I really do think he's up there with the real greats in T20 cricket with, in the field as well, with the ball in hand, with the bat in hand. He can just create momentum change in overs and periods in T20 cricket. So, he's got so many wickets and it's because of his ability to change up pace. He can bowl quickly, he can have the variations, and he can bowl pretty much across the whole 20 overs. And you ask any captain, and I know India have got many, you want bowlers that can bowl in the first 6, in the middle and down the back end. And that's exactly what Hardik Pandya can do.
So, you're going to be seeing him in action pretty soon because India has won the toss again and chosen to bowl first. So we'll have a look at the England team because England's got 2 changes. The 2 changes being that there is no Jacob Bethel, so Jamie Smith comes in there. The top order with Ben Duckett, Phil Salt, Joss Butler, Harry Brook, Liam Livingston. So lots of power. Jamie Smith adding to that power. And the bowling with Jamie Overton. 1 change, Gus Atkinson out and Bryden Cass comes in. And then, of course, the raw pace of Jofra Archer and Mark Wood with the spin and experience and guile of Adil Rashid. And then the Indian team's got 2 forced changes as well. There's Nitish Reddy, who has got a side strain, and Rinku Singh also not well. So there is Washington Sundar, who comes in, a little more spin for Suryakumar Yadav, the captain, as an option, and Dhruv Jurel with the batting. The bowling for India remains the same. Arshdeep and Hardik will have the new ball. And then Varun Chakaravarthy, Ravi Bishnoi, Akshar Patel, and a little bit from Washi Sundar. All right, we've got the joy factor question for you. Let me bring that up real quick while Zach and Michael calculate their score guesses. Which international cricketer made his ODI debut against Scotland in 2009 but could only make his Test debut 9 years later against India? That's a lot of countries to think about. Any idea? Look at Michael. Michael stroking his non-existent beard. The thinking beard. All right.
Maybe some English cricketer.
English cricketer, you think?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Has to be.
Has to be. Okay. Maybe a clue, maybe a decoy. I don't know whether Zach knows or doesn't. But if you know, send in your answer on X. Hashtag Joy Factor, hashtag Cricbuzz Live. We're waiting for your answers. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for Zach and Michael's answers. Score guesses, England batting first in Chennai.
150.
150.
Yeah.
All right, 150. Michael, explain your reaction. Do you think he's been...
He's singing
No, I
up too
think
high.
I was going to go 150.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go 145.
145.
I thought his reaction was England is not getting to 150.
Yeah? All right. I'm going to go slightly higher. I'm going to go 158. Yeah, 158. I think they're going to get more. Should I go more? Should I go? I'll do it. 164. That's my guess.
Okay.
164, 150, and 145. Those are our score guesses. We'll see how England is going at the halfway mark. End of 10 overs. We'll be here with Cricbuzz Combox, so do join us then. Right now, big thank you to Michael Vaughan. What is that? Out? Somebody out?
Oh.
Oh. You know, I increased my guess because I saw first ball 4. So I went from 158 to 164. I should bring it down to 134 now. I'm not going to change, no. Going to keep it as is. All right, that's all we have time for on Cricbuzz Live. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in a bit.